Sláinte, everybody. Welcome to the St. Patrick's Day episode of Beer There, Drunk That, the only podcast celebrating only drinking holidays.
Top of the morning to well, that's every holiday though.
Yeah,
That's
that's
true.
true.
That's true. Yeah, when is a holiday considered not a drinking holiday? Are there any of those we can think of?
Nope. Easter is a booze
I
fest.
was gonna, I was saying, I was going to religious ones. Hanukkah? That's that's my 2 cents on it.
I mean, I agree. I think every holiday is a drinking holiday, basically.
Well, how were we this weekend, gents? Did you have fun with beers? I know Keegan did.
I I had a lot of fun with beers. Mostly today. I'm not going to tell you what I shot because it wasn't great, but I went and played 18 holes of golf, and I'm glad I did. I'm very glad I did. But yeah,
Nice.
Luke, how about you?
Well, what were you doing while you were golfing, Keegan? It's important to note.
No. I was drinking. I was golfing while I was drinking. Is really
Ah,
what
there you
was
go.
more
Yeah,
Did
the
do
situation.
you
that
swing
order.
with one hand and sip with the other? Or like
No. I'm committed. I'm committed to my golf game. I do swing with two hands. I promise. Even though
okay.
it doesn't, my scorecard doesn't always reflect that.
It's not like the Antonio Brown clip of him just hucking it.
Just he tees it up in the middle of the fairway too. It's insane. That clip is crazy
He
because
makes
this
me
man
want
is.
to get CTE.
Well, if you just go kiss him, you can get it too.
Yeah,
Nice.
CTE is contagious now, by the way.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Well, I did drink a lot of Irish beers this weekend that I didn't put in my tastings, just because I wanted to have a wide breadth of them. And
Absolutely.
I thought the pickings were kind of slim at the Total Wine, not gonna lie. Again, though, less Irish people out here in the Midwest than it is, in the New York area. However, for the beer I'm gonna be drinking tonight, I got a Left Hand Brewing dry Irish stout nitro. So we're getting a
Ooh,
good
all
crack.
right.
That good nitro sound.
Wait,
Absolutely. I mentioned it in my first sips too. I did the same thing.
well, I was gonna say, Donnie, the pickings are kind of slim here, but that's only because the Irish cleared the freaking place out. So,
Yeah, the real Irishmen before Luke came in were able to clear all the beers
oh,
out.
you,
Yeah.
here we go. You're a quarter Polish and French Canadian. All of a sudden, it negates the other stuff. But all
Oh,
right.
Yeah. What do you guys got ripping right now?
so this is a beer that I've had before. I'm a sucker for a good can. This is called Baby Leprechaun
That
Ooh,
was Luke's
by
nickname in high
by
school.
Fat Orange
I
Cat.
was just about to.
Yeah, Baby Leprechaun and Fat Orange Cat were both Luke's nicknames. So
Yeah.
They
that's why
were.
this beer is unbelievable to me.
Depending on if it was freshman
Um,
year or senior year.
exactly. Yeah, so I have Fat Orange Cat. I'm sorry, Fat Orange Cat's Baby Leprechaun. It's an IPA actually, which is funny, but yeah,
I'm I'm going with the Guinness, fellas.
Out of a
respectable.
bottle.
It's never. Oh yeah, the
I
bottle's a little.
I listen. I've got what I've got. Okay, I always have Guinness in my fridge. It just happens to be the last Guinness that I would grab.
I'll be
Also, I've
honest. I'm a
got the
little.
glass.
Okay, that makes up for it. That balances it out about
Thank you.
halfway.
I was going to say
So
I gotta redeem myself a little bit here.
I
for sure,
bought I
for
bought
sure.
a 4 pack each of Guinness and Harp Tall Boys uh the other day, so I'm ready to go for this weekend. I'm gonna try making a black and tan.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
it sounds like you're making a lot of black and tan, sir.
Yeah.
I've got my tool. I almost wore it around my neck as a necklace, but
Didn't you do that for Halloween in college?
I did.
Yep. I love a good black and tan. I think they hit different.
They
Hmm.
do. And
Very
like,
true.
I'm not as Irish as you guys. If the last episode shows anything.
You're
But
check. Yeah.
yeah, I'm Chechen. Um, but I do love a good Irish beer around this time of year. Like there is something about it. Like every so often, it's like, you know what, I'll crack a Guinness, but this time of year, it's like I can't get enough of it.
I think it's contagious, honestly. I think the Irishmen, typically, I mean, obviously, Irishmen drink year round, but something about St. Patrick driving the snakes away from Ireland just gets you fired up. It gets you going.
Yeah, I
So,
I mean I'm a huge fan of Irish beer, Irish themed beer. It's just like That's my go-to. I drink Guinness everywhere I go. You know, bars,
Bathroom,
restaurants, church.
car.
It's a little weird when he's drinking it at work. I think it's a little flat for that, but
Yeah, my
Yeah.
boss isn't happy, but hey, what are you gonna do?
No, not many
should we
bosses
crack him
are.
then?
Yeah. Let's see if
Yeah.
my
All right.
nitro works.
Sláinte, boys, right by the mic.
Sláinte.
Eh,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
a little
okay.
disappointing. It was a little
And it's
disappointing.
gone. My Guinness went down immediately. Sorry, fellas.
You guys,
I gotta go grab another one.
he did more than split the G.
Well, yeah, can we talk about that? Because like, there's a little bit of controversy. So I think there's sometimes a mix-up between if you're supposed to go to the between the harp and the G and split the G. And I used to be a between the harp and G kind of guy, and I have now progressed to a you have to split the G.
I think you
What do
got
you
it.
guys think?
It's in the
I
middle of the
think
G,
split
like
the
right
G.
on the line.
Right at the middle of there. I agree. I think you got to split the G. How do we do, Luke?
We did okay.
Well, do you guys know why they say you should gulp down Guinness like that?
That I
Why?
don't know.
Because like the head is a little bit more bitter, so it's to get through the head and like get rid of the bitterness.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that's not the explanation I was expecting. I thought it would be to
no.
get through the entire beer faster so you can order another one.
Well, isn't it? Don't they say the Irish way to do it is finish a Guinness in 3 sips or something? Well, it's not sips, I guess. It's like no
Gulps?
4. I don't know, some number like
I
that.
don't know.
It's something insane.
You pour it in 2, finish in 3, kind of thing.
Something like that.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
not number peoples, the Irish.
Clearly, as the
That's
spokesperson.
that's the heavy Irish that Luke got is the non-numbers, non-hard science portion of Ireland.
the thing though is I have not mastered the Irish goodbye. Not at all.
You're
I'm
terrible at it.
I am so bad at I just can't do it. I'm like, oh, I forgot to say goodbye to like, great Aunt Geraldine. I better walk through this entire crowd of people back over there and make sure I say my goodbye.
So she can give
Yeah,
me a
you're
kiss
gonna
on the lips.
give your granny a smooch.
Come over here, kiddo.
Yeah, you're gonna say goodbye to your seventh cousin, and give them
Yep.
a hug and say bye. Yep.
I'm seeing them this week and I'm looking forward to it.
But that's honestly, Luke, that's what I appreciate about you.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Keegan. Keegan.
All right, Luke, as the most Irish here, declare.
Hold on. We gotta wait on that
Nope,
because
he was right.
I gotta
He
see
was right.
I gotta see my 23 and me before we give Luke that title. I refuse to give it up without proof.
At this
So
time,
we'll give Luke.
I am the most Irish on paper. Okay, we'll say
That's
we'll
fair.
put it that way.
I'll give
Yeah.
it to you for now.
with record. But
Yes.
let's kick us off, Luke.
All right. So I'm starting with Resurgence Brewing, which you may remember are the creators of the sponge candy stout that I loved. After drinking this, and I'll introduce it in a moment. After drinking this, Resurgence Brewing in Buffalo, New York, is very quickly climbing to my top probably 5 favorite breweries, just because their stuff is so consistently good. Like I've had a number of things outside of just like the sponge candy stout and what I'm about to introduce, that I absolutely love from them. But this is the Old Neighborhood Irish Red, which if you see the guy on the can, that is about 80% of my cousins. But the cool thing is, so my Irish family is from the Old Neighborhood, the Old First Ward, and that's where I celebrate every year. That's where I'm going on Saturday, the day before St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's
That's where
Eve.
St. Patrick's Eve, as they say. But yeah, so onto the beer itself. I absolutely loved it in a completely unbiased way. I absolutely loved it. 4.75. I immediately, after finishing
Ooh.
this, was searching through my beer fridge trying to find another Irish Red. Just because I was a very, very big fan of it. My first thoughts, I touched it to my mouth and immediately thought sweetbread and toffee. It was just a very, like a light medium mouthfeel, crisp, pleasant finish. definitely moreish. And I would actually, to anybody who listens to us schmucks talk, I would absolutely recommend this as a necessary step outside of like your typical like macro brew kind of stuff. 100%.
So, Luke, I think the real question is because this is a pretty glowing review. I mean, I guess we'll reveal it in a later episode, but is this going to be a Mount Rush beer for you?
I don't know if it's going to be a Mount Rush beer, but it is going to be a yearly tradition.
Amazing.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that. I like that a lot.
It was just incredibly pleasant and enjoyable. And that was my first beer.
Wow. Hard to beat that,
That's,
really.
I mean, yeah, that's a heavy task to follow that.
You just wait for my
Donnie,
second beer, buddy.
just wait.
I
Get to you,
yeah.
buddy. You gave
I
the
saw
one a 5.5.
Yeah, I guess I can go up.
Yeah.
So I got Maggie's Irish Ale from Saugatuck Brewing. They're out of Michigan. It's an ale brewed with honey, is all it says, really. And it's got like a little story in the back, but it is just like it is exactly that. It's it's that light Irish red taste with that like it's not the syrupy consistency, but that syrupy flavor of honey, and it had that deep, rich sweetness that really helped round it out, while still like I'd say it's like a good medium mouthfeel. Luke, on it, there's a lot of caramelly notes, just that rich kind of like cozy sweetness, not like artificial sweetness. It felt
Yeah.
real. Um, I'd give this beer a 4.25. I think it's a really good, um, just kind of like a light dessert beer almost. Something where if you want something a little sweet in the evening, but you don't want to, like drink a 9.5% like peppermint chocolate stout or something like that, and you just feel bloated. Which I think I've had one of those from Left Hand Brewing actually, before. But yeah, it was a great beer. I guess the downside was I had to buy a 6-pack of it, but I am more than happy to drink those
So
because
that's the upside then that you had to buy a 6-pack of them.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't hear a negative in that at all.
No, it was that was being sarcastic because it's really, really like it was a good beer for me to buy a 6-pack of, I think.
I love that.
Way cool.
All right, I guess I'm next then. So I'm gonna start with this one. This is Evil Twin Brewings. It's their even more Irish Jesus. So
I
I believe
did
there should
buy
be a
and drink
comment
that
in
beer this
there.
weekend.
Hell yes, I love it. So cheers to that. Hell yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. He's got it. So I mean, I feel like there should be a comment. It should be even more Irish. Jesus. Kind of thing is how it should be. Um, it's a 4.7% dry Irish stout. It definitely has that classic coffee and malt kind of aroma to it. And then this one though, I felt like it was a lighter for a stout, especially. I felt like it was much lighter bodied than I normally am accustomed to with my stouts.
As someone who also
Um,
drank this within the past couple days, I thought it was a little watery.
a little watery. I
Yeah,
could
like
definitely see that.
it had
I
it
Yeah.
it was not nearly as full bodied as I was expecting.
Yes. No, I totally agree. Because that's what like when I had it, like it has some of those that coffee, that malt, like those things you come to expect out of a stout, but it wasn't as like you didn't feel bloated afterwards. So I agree. I think watery thin like was definitely a better way to describe it.
If I
Um
have, oh, I'm sorry. So go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so if I'm having a flight at a brewery and I have a stout, and and we've talked about this, but I kind of tend to end on stouts. If I get one that's a little more, maybe not watery, but that lighter body, I was expecting something kind of like something kind of stronger or thicker, I guess. It tends to kind of disappoint me. Did you find that at all, or did you like it a lot?
So, so let me put it this way. So I gave it a 3.25 on Untapped.
Okay.
It was an above average beer for me. I definitely have some bias towards stouts. I enjoy my stouts, my porters, things like that. Um, so in a way, yes, it was a little bit disappointing because I was expecting more of a full beer with that coffee, those kind of classic pieces of a stout, because there wasn't anything I think that differentiates this from, I'll say, your standard like stock stout, aside from the fact that it was a little thinner. And Donnie, you might be able to speak to this as well, but like it wasn't like it was a strong coffee flavor. So that was for me, that's a plus. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if disappointed is the best way to put it, because it was just, I'd say it's unexpected, would be a better way to do it, because it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it also wasn't exactly what I was, I'll say, prepared to drink from this can.
I totally agree. Because I like went through the aisles of Total Wine last Friday, and I just kind of like I picked up as many single cans as I could really find. Um, and this was one that I had heard about this beer, like looking up like craft places that do it. And so I think like Even More Jesus is like their like flagship beer.
It is. Yeah, it's one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just like I said, I wasn't impressed by it. Like I don't think it was a bad beer. I don't think like the name Even More Jesus sounds a little more holy than than the results were. One
Yeah.
may say.
When yeah, again, that's why I think when naming this beer, if you're gonna name it this, you put a comma and you say even more Irish, Jesus.
Jesus,
And
Bob.
you gotta make it more filling.
Hmm.
That's my only, I'll say, qualm with this beer, is that it wasn't. I don't know. I don't think it lived up to this name. But again, keeping in mind that even more Jesus is one of their flagship beers.
So it's kind of a quieter, like Jesus instead of a Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Oh, this beer
Exactly.
is
Could even
great.
be a Jesus. Who's to
Yes.
say? Even more Irish Jesus.
Yeah. Yes. I think so. I
Got
think
lime in
that's
it.
a great way to put it.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I won't have that as one of my tasting beers. Actually, I have another one that I did live that I'll do in the second half. Um, I know, close one on that. I did get
That
worried
was
because
that
I'm
was
like,
it was close.
when I bought it, because I'm like, it's a New York beer. Like maybe Keegan like is gonna drink this.
That's yeah. When you said it, I was like, "Ooh,
No,
Donnie might have jumped me." All right,
I had a bunch of Irish beers, and if you guys won't mind, I'd like to indulge you in the story of one of the beers I had this weekend.
Yes,
I would be
please.
offended if you didn't.
So we went to a place called Lion's Tail Brewing up in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and every year around St. Patty's Day, they do something that coincides with the annual Girl Scout cookie sale, which is also this time of year. So they do a beer and cookie flight pairing, and so Sophie was just over and she dropped off the like little flight card that they gave us. So just to read off of it, the first beer it was it's called Little Crush, a juicy pale ale with the lemonade cookie, the frosted lemonade from Girl Scouts, and so it's like a little citrusy light combo. The next one I think might have been the best. It was called Crimson. It's a sour ale with cherry, and it tasted like tart cherry juice. It was amazing, and
Ooh.
it was like kind of thick. It wasn't like smoothie consistency, but it was like you could not see through the beer. And they paired that with the tag along. So it was like a
Ooh,
PB and J when you combine those.
ooh.
Ooh.
The next one was called Days Like This, and it was an oak aged Irish red. I didn't think I had enough of the beer to like actually like do a full tasting on it. But it was paired with a toastier, and it was just like a nice, warm, like toasty feeling. Like I don't know how else to describe it other than toasty. Like it just the like unctuousness of the oaky really worked well with the like sweet and like toastiness of the cookie.
And you
Um,
tend to prefer that in a beer, right? Like
I love
oaky.
I love it when things taste like plants in a beer.
Yes, I'm with you. I am with you.
Like oak and pine, like that's when I like an IPA if it tastes like pine, I like it.
You're
Like one of
sold.
the first IPAs I ever liked was called it was a milkshake IPA, but it was very piney. It was like milkshake and pine needles. It was amazing.
You dropped your you dropped your milkshake on a Christmas tree.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last one, it was their chai porter with Rishi tea in it. Um,
Whoa.
Paired with the Adventureful, which is the like toffee cookie. And that one was okay. It was like nothing special, I'll say. but it was just a great experience, and it was a really great concept. And I'd love to learn how to curate and figure out something like that, you know?
I mean, as someone who loves both Girl Scout cookies and beer, this sounds like a great use of both. And I hope that at some point, we'd be able to do something similar. And I'd love to test out some of those combinations because they really do. They sound really, really good. Especially, I mean, I'm a peanut butter guy, so that PB&J really sounds like it sounds
That
like it'd be pretty nice.
that cherry beer was phenomenal. It tasted like it was like tart. It was the perfect mixture of tart cherry juice and beer, and it wasn't too sour. It wasn't too beery. It was just like, and the peanut butter cookie just rounded it all out and made it taste like a PB&J in your mouth. It was amazing.
I
Well,
love
but
that.
that's the thing. I feel like to effectively get that flavor, because I've seen a couple of different breweries have attempted it, but it's like a peanut butter and jelly stout.
Hmm.
And it's all together in the same can. It's like, no, you almost have to have one of them in beer form and one of them in solid form. So the fact that they were able to pull it off like that is pretty cool. Pretty cool to me.
I had one PB&J beer that was good. It was last year during like it was a local brewery here called 1840. It was their like Oktoberfest, and like it was down the street from my friend's apartment, so like we walked over. Um, and Sophie got their PB&J beer, because it wasn't like a PB&J stout, it was like a PB&J like sour ale or something like that.
Oh,
And that was, I think, the best way it's done, because I think when you do it in like a stout or a porter, it's almost too heavy and there's too much, like it's too dense, where it's like this one felt lighter and you're like, oh, I could drink this in a warm September afternoon and like
right.
Hmm.
feel refreshed.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think you can walk a fine line with those stouts and porters because again, like you said, they can get heavy. So if you put like I'll say a super dominant flavor in there, it I don't even know how to explain it. Like I basically I agree with you what you're saying. Like it can be you have to be very kind of careful how you bring up flavors like that. Like I had when we were in Saratoga a couple weekends ago, I had this strawberries and cream stout and it was incredible. It was
Very good.
incredible. And like they did a very good job of making a beer. Now I like when a beer is very forward with its flavors, which this was, but also in a way that was eloquent enough to kind of like make it a full flavor. So
Mhm.
I definitely think it's impressive when places can pull that off.
My question off of that, because I you've talked about this before too, with you liking them being forward with their flavors. Does that mean you want the flavor to hit you in the face, or are you okay sometimes? Like if you have a beer and it's like it's an aftertaste and it's a strong aftertaste of the flavor. Like is that still okay too? If
Yeah,
it like
definitely.
lingers
No,
there?
it's not. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I always go back to my blueberries. So the blueberries are very, very forward in the fact that like it hits you in the face with that blueberry flavor, which I enjoy. But I do think there's something to be said for those beers that can do it in an aftertaste sense. And I definitely don't dislike beers like that or have a distaste towards beers like that. I think if breweries can do that and really have their flavor kind of come in at the end, I think that's just as good.
See, we are
So
true Irishmen because we're poets in our beer talk here. We are just
You always have a great analogy of your beers, Luke. I'll like the
you do.
smashing the cracker with the lemon.
It's
I think like
absolutely.
I know exactly what you mean by that. Poured a milkshake on a pine tree or on a Christmas tree. Like you're just again, you're the liberal arts major of us, but so maybe
Soft
The soft
using your
sciences.
more,
science guy.
yeah,
Yep.
the soft sciences. Um yeah, because I had the cranberry oatmeal stout at the Line Kugel's Barrel Yard this weekend. Because for the month of March they're doing half off flights, so it's 5.50 for a flight of beers,
Oh my God.
and
That's
You
not
live
and
in
bad.
heaven.
that's the brewery that's in the Brewers Stadium. So it's like you're just like drinking beer, looking at a baseball field.
Never
I
a
Um,
love
bad
how
place
my
to be.
definition of heaven though is you still have to pay for it. Like
there's
Yeah, no, it's not free. It's not
you
free
have
because
it's like
that would just be
you
ridiculous.
get to drive a nice car there, but you have to pay to park it.
No, God is like, what can I say? The economy shit everywhere.
But the cranberry oatmeal stout was like it was like normal like oatmeal stout flavor, like kind of mild. And then on the back end, after you set the glass down, it was like, oh, that's like craisins.
Oh,
It
See,
was,
that sounds like a really interesting one to try. I'd be very interested in getting my hands on that.
yeah. Sophie's future brother-in-law, Buddy, was sitting next to me, and he like looked at
Buddy.
me afterwards. Yeah, his name's Buddy. Shout out, Buddy, if you're listening.
buddy.
But he like he is sitting next to me. He's like, "That's like I almost need like a glass of milk afterwards. It's getting really tart now." Like he like looked at me. He's like, "This is getting like
Wow.
this is way stronger than I was expecting." And there, I will say we had a funny story because it was Sophie's dad, myself, and her to-be brother-in-law. We're just hanging out, and we each ordered a flight. And then the bartender, it was her first day, actually, so we had to congratulate her on that. Anyway, she was like, "Oh, these two beers are unclaimed. Take them." So there were just two other random tasters around. Um, and then at one point we saw, I think someone had ordered a crowler, and it was like crushed. It like got messed up in the can, and they were about to pour it down the drain. I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Like, what's going on?" And they're like, "Oh, we can't like give this to the person." And I'm like, "Well," and they're like, "Okay, we'll just pour it out in glasses for you guys."
I
And they didn't
appreciate you
charge him
rescuing
for
that
any
beer
of
from
it. Like
abuse.
they were really, really nice. 'Cause we were just
Well,
hanging out there at like 1 o'clock on a Saturday.
having never been to Milwaukee myself, I just imagine that there's like some sort of authority that will kind of take a look at that stuff and write tickets if they waste beer.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, that's alcohol abuse. You can't do that here.
No, I
Not in
respect.
front of me.
Yeah.
Not in front of me.
Because it's like, what else are you gonna do with it? Like they know that they can't like sell it to anyone.
Right.
No, I appreciate you for stepping in and stopping that abuse, Donnie.
Well, because Sophie's dad was like, the doors were opened like out to the field, and so I was like, I want to go and just like look at the field. I'm like, okay, well, she's pouring us beers right now, Don. Like, I gotta watch this.
We're in the middle of business here. Sir.
Yeah,
We can't.
the art of the deal, if you will. The art of the beer. Yeah, it was a good beer weekend for me, I'll say.
I would say so. That like honestly, that cookie tasting or that cookie and beer pairing would make my entire month.
That would be
So
cool.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you for sure.
It was
We'll have to
phenomenal.
curate some things with like just some beers that you find out of your fridge. I think we should try to pair some food with it. So you can go like 7-year-old Guinness and like apple pie and just see how it goes. And just see what happens.
You're acting like I would have apple pie on hand here.
That's true.
Like
That's
I
true.
can
That's
procure the 7-year-old Guinness if it got lost somewhere in my beer fridge, but procuring something outside of like Cheese Whiz or something is it's just gonna be tough.
7-year-old Cheese Whiz and 7-year-old Guinness.
There you go.
Like it
It's
doesn't even
aged.
come out the right way anymore. It's like why did it kind of clinks when I shake it now?
You
I don't
gotta
know.
cut the top off the can.
You got to cut the can in half to get it out.
I
is
used
what
this
you gotta
can
do.
opener to shear the top off so we could crush some of the hardened, pure or petrified cheese out of the thing. But
Yeah,
And
it
enjoy your
becomes
Guinness, too.
slices of Cheez Whiz.
who did we leave off on for the tasting here?
Keegan. Keegan was the last one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I was finishing up. Yeah, that even more Irish.
have the
Isn't
three
that
of us
funny how these
cycled
things
through
get
our
lost?
first one?
Yeah, we did. We're coming
Luke,
up on our break.
Oh,
Luke, you
yes,
gotta get
yes.
some help, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's this Guinness. Well, I told you,
Yeah, I mean,
by this point, I'm on my 8th Guinness because I'll open it and it disappears. I don't know what's happening.
gone. It's gone.
I've
Dude,
never
let me
actually
ask
had
you
Guinness
this.
Extra. Is it worth it? Or
Really?
no? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You feel extra good.
All right, Keegan, what was your question?
Oh, Luke, when you go to a bar, because I know you just drink. So instead of drinking to forget, you drink and forget. So, do they make you pay in advance or like they just let you go?
Well, a lot of times now they've gotten smart because they know there's going to be guys like me drinking to forget, but always remembering well after the fact that my card is left at the pub I was at. So now they'll just close it out and they'll be like, "All right, idiot, here you go. Thanks for the 80% tip."
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, leave himself a nice tip.
It's not like when in college when you'd leave your card at Filger's on a Saturday, and then you'd have to wait until Wednesday to go get it.
Yeah.
And you have to go to Easton Alexander in the broad daylight on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
and you feel like you're
Yeah.
seeing spirits.
I went to Radio Social, which for those of you who aren't familiar with what Radio Social is, it's like it's a really cool spot. It's a bowling alley meets restaurant meets hip bar meets. It's cool. It's a fun space.
Competitive ping pong arena.
Oh yeah.
Well, so I had left my card open there, and it was right before it was like it was a Sunday. Oh, I know it was a Sunday because it was a Bills game day. And so I had left a little early, and was going to go watch the game with my family. And so then I realized when I got home, I'm like, ah, crap, I left my card there, you know. So I call my buddy who I knew was still there, and I go, hey, can you grab the card? And he goes, yeah, no problem. So then he texts me like an hour later and goes, hey man, totally forgot the card. Sorry. I'm like, all right, no problem. You know, I hopefully there's still some friends there. So then I text another friend. I'm like, hey, can you close out my card and grab it? I'll grab it from you, you know, probably tomorrow or something. And they go, yeah, no problem. And I had to get it on Wednesday when they opened back up because my my like backup plan failed once again.
I was waiting for the first buddy to get the wrong card back because there was another guy named Luke or something there.
Well,
and him just like not thinking, and then he's like, wow, I walked off with the wrong credit card.
I've got a friend with the last name O'Brien, okay, and he was out at Magpie on St. Patrick's Day, and that's over on Park Ave. Another great space, kind of divey. I love it.
Little tight in there.
Yeah, little tight. It's like a shotgun there, but
it's like a shotgun shell.
Yeah. But so he's drinking there, and he kept going, yeah, O'Brien, you know, they go, what's the name? He would say O'Brien, except it's St. Patrick's Day and an Irish pub. So what's going to happen? There's going to be 8 O'Briens, and they're all saying that. So some unlucky guy with the last name O'Brien got all of his drinks that night.
Yeah, it's picking up everybody's tab.
Hopefully it's not like an early in the alphabet name, so that way it doesn't come up first, you know?
Aaron O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the beauty of being a Polish Irishman is nobody's gonna say Rydelic at an Irish bar, right?
Yeah,
Except
that's right.
for your family.
Yep, I would go Mick Rydelic, and then
No, I think you get that at a fast food place. I've been to Poland. I went to McDonald's there. I ordered one of those. It was
they
lovely.
have a Mick Rydelic. Well, the best part is in Polish, Rydel is spud, like potato. So you got
Fitting.
a Mick potato.
That sounds made up.
Yeah.
That sounds made
Which
up.
is every potato from Ireland, and I can say that I'm Irish.
That sounds made up. I don't know how much I believe you.
Oh, jeez. Here we go. He's doubting my heritage once more.
All right, we're gonna need to take a break here. We're gonna need a breather for Luke to calm down.
Yeah, Keegan and I are gonna fight real quick.
All right, we'll be back
He'll be over.
after some bloody knuckles.
You're dead, man.
Welcome back to the funeral of Keegan. Where
Keegan died. Sorry, guys. I killed him. He's dead. We fought. It was a good fight. We lasted quite a few rounds, but ultimately, I won. So it's Donny and I as your hosts now.
It was a great fight.
Really, Donald Trump.
Trump, what are you
First guest episode.
It was a great fight. I had a lot of fun.
So I have a fitting beer for what just went down, bottled by Gray Brewing Company in Janesville, Wisconsin. I have Busted Knuckle.
Yeah.
Found this in my stash of Irish beers in the fridge. So yeah, you know, it's a nice Irish. You know, it's like an Irish. It just says Irish style ale, and then parentheses underneath it, it says beer. so that way you know.
I'm glad they clarified that. It could
Yeah.
be confusing.
Well, I'm cracking open right now. Killian's Irish Red, which I love. I've got the sign behind me. Got like 4 other.
It's one of my boss's favorite beers. She loves it.
Well,
Um,
I think your boss is cool.
She's really nice.
not a horrible boss.
You know.
I'm going back to just a Guinness, although I'm doing out of the can like a man, and it pours out like a lava lamp. So we're back.
Okay, with the immediate slight, Keegan and I should have fought. Turns out.
For those of you who don't know, they actually didn't fight.
What gave that away? Us living in 2 separate cities on 2 opposite ends of the state.
I think it was the lack of crying.
No, I cried a little.
Well, they didn't hear it.
They will.
All right, I'm going to talk about my second beer.
That'd be a good move. That'd be a good move. Good segue. Good segue.
After we went to Lion's Tail, like I talked about the other day, we went to a place called Big Head, which is pretty close by, and I had their Irish Stout. It was pretty good. It was a pretty generic Irish Stout, like an Irish dry. I liked it more than I had of that Evil Jesus. Right? Even more Evil Jesus.
Yeah.
No, Irish Jesus, sorry.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
There
what
it is.
has happened?
We just lost every single Catholic Christian listener that we ever had when Donny called Jesus evil.
Yep. Hey,
okay.
listen, I'm gonna blame that on the Protestants. Okay.
Yeah,
My grandpa would be very proud of me.
I'm well known for lit communities.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Oh, Donny's frozen, I think.
See, Donny? Yeah, see, this is what happens. You talk ill about Jesus, and you're gonna lose connection.
No, my computer's converting the first file. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's why I usually wait a minute in the break. So I'll probably edit a chunk of this out.
I think it's more mystical to relate that to Jesus as a whole. I think that really is more entertaining. But you do.
Yeah.
We
Anyway,
had Jesus on the podcast, Trump on the podcast. Man, we
had quite a range.
we're broad.
Sorry, Donny, we interrupted you. Tell us about your beer.
Yeah. Well, my computer was not having good times as usual. Anyway, it was just a regular Irish dry stout from a place called Big Head Brewing. It was a live tasting in my first sips. You can probably hear Sophie's family talking in the background because we were just hanging out there. Cool thing is they had a picture of Fenway Park on the wall. I think it was like just like a generic like Target like stretch canvas of the Green Monster, but I don't care.
I don't either. That sounds like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. It was like if you took like the sum of like Murphy's, Guinness, and all those like macro stouts and just like put them into like the perfect micro blend. That was it. It was full bodied. It was that malty chocolate coffee. I would say lighter on the coffee notes than a lot of other ones, which I appreciated with more of those deeper, like on the verge of bitter notes. That's just why I say it wasn't very coffee, because they call it the coffee malt or whatever, or chocolate malt, I think, in those type of beers. And, it's so roasted that it gets to the bitterness of like coffee. And this one was just on the verge of that. I think they did a really good job of balancing it out. The only downside, it wasn't nitro. It was a normal carbonated beer, but it tasted amazing. Like it was one we looked at and we're like, all right, like they'll have a stout on tap. And then I drank it and it was really, really good. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Untapped. Just a solid beer. Like, can't complain about it. I gave it a 4, yeah. almost a smokiness to it with the maltiness. It was just good beer. Like I don't know what else to say. Is it there wasn't much to write home about, and that's what I like about it. It was a crushable stout, full bodied. It was nice. Now I'm
Cool.
rambling.
No.
So I guess the question comes down to, so smoked jalapeno was a no. What do you think about a smoked stout? Lou, you have a smoking kit. I think this sounds like an experiment for St. Patty's Day.
Well, I certainly don't want to spoil anything for those listeners who go to Tracy B's, that brewery I go to every Friday in Leroy. But tomorrow I will be joining the brewer Jim and the owner, and bringing my smoking kit and seeing what happens with some beer. So I'm not going to give away too much, but there might be a plan in motion here.
Well, are you gonna
I
post
love
about it
it.
on our Instagram?
That sounds like
We
that sounds
just
like a
might.
must, like live video or something.
Yeah,
I
Instagram
don't
Live.
I don't want him to to give away any secrets, but maybe some sort of a mask. The masked singer,
Yeah, this is the Masked
Yeah.
Brewer.
the masked brewer. You got her.
I
So
like.
is this
Oh,
something
oh,
that they might be like putting out to the public, or is this just like a you guys hanging out having a couple brews?
No, so he's got something going on. The cool thing about Jim is that he, unlike unlike myself, where we'll throw an idea out and it's, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did this, and then just never do it. Jim is the opposite. Where one week he'll say, I'm kind of thinking about doing such and such, and then it'll just be done.
Kind of
Like
like this podcast for 4 years.
yeah, we don't all have it. Jim has it. Some people have it, some people don't. But but yeah, he's got something going on in that head of his, and he thinks it's going to give him a good idea about something. So I'm excited to kind of discover what that is, through trial and error, tomorrow.
we're excited to hear about it. I would love definitely an Instagram update.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I
do
would
so.
love to see something, whether it be a full-fledged post or you just text us or you drunk call me, you know.
Sounds like a plan. um
Uh, yeah, Luke, you want to go next?
yeah, I'll go next. So I rated that first beer that I had, that old neighborhood Irish red ale, a 4.75. And I said, just wait for my second beer. And the reason why I said that is because I had the Willow Rock Brewing Company's Aaron Go Brunch,
For
uh, Irish cream coffee oatmeal breakfast stout.
oh
Yeah, yeah.
oh
One word for every letter in the name Aaron.
The Irish
wait
alphabet is considerably shorter,
oh
Yeah.
and
Donnie, that's
uh,
I'm very impressed that you picked up on that because that went right over my head.
yeah,
I
it
don't think
is.
it's that many. I just know the Irish way of spelling Aaron is really long.
Well, so this beer I cracked open, and the literal instant that I cracked it, I got hit with this wave of coffee and cream that was so delightful. And it made me think that the coffee was going to be pretty overwhelming. It was not. I don't know how they managed to do it. It was not like, some coffee stouts, and I tend to go with Keegan, and I'll drink it, but I don't want it to be overly like coffee flavored. Like I went to a local 315 brewing, it's called, like outside of Syracuse, and I had it was their coffee blonde ale, and it was overpowering. Like I don't want to get, completely, I don't want every single thing to be drowned out and it be like I let a cup of coffee get cold and then I put it in the refrigerator
And
and
then
then
in
I
a
threw a
soda
couple of
stream to
hops.
carbonate it.
So yeah, so this completely avoided that, which I love. Dark, rich, and heavy, like how Keegan likes his men. And again, I thought it avoided the overpowering me with that coffee taste. I had it both cold and a bit warmer, like I did with the sponge candy stout. So that yielded kind of different tastes through each of those. Um, the warmer it got, the heavier the coffee flavor was compared to the cream. But I actually had a weird tasting note from this beer, which
It
was
was soy sauce.
it. It was, believe it or not, coconut.
Oh,
Weirdly enough, when it was starting to warm up a little, I'm like, the combination of coffee and cream, it just tasted like kind of not a true coconut, but like kind of that artificial flavor that I think gets used in.
Like like if
But it
something were
was
pina colada flavored almost, like that type of
exactly
coconut. Sunscreen.
exactly like just a little bit,
yeah,
yeah,
sunscreen.
sunscreen. No,
Sunscreen.
but
Yep.
I loved it. I This one also might be a March tradition moving forward. But most importantly, and I think shocking of all, was my first 5 rating on Untapped.
Wow.
That's
Luke,
amazing, Luke.
tell me you got me some of this beer. You have some that I can try.
So I drank
I'm leaving.
5 of
I'm
How do I
them.
leaving.
say
I'm out.
this?
I'm
How
out.
do I say this? I don't have any more
I'm
at all. I had more than one, um, and you don't get any of it, and you especially don't get any of it now.
Because you asked.
Because we're having a tiff, Keegan and I. What happened to us?
well, we had something so
We used to be
magical.
connected. I'm the glue now. I'm what's holding this place together.
I
I'm the
can't.
kid with the parents fighting. My
Irish
2
temper. What
dads.
can I say?
Luke does fit my description of men: dark, rich, and wealthy. So, what do you say?
Yeah.
Dark, rich, and what do you say?
I said dark, rich, and heavy, which
Heavy, heavy. Wealthy would work, but dark, rich, and heavy. I think that describes Luke.
I am one of those things alone.
So to the beer, Luke, we keep bringing up Mount Rush beer, things like that. This is your first 5 on Untapped. I know that doesn't mean that's your first, 5 out of 5 of every beer you've ever had. Would this be up there?
This is pushing it, man. This month, okay, or the length of time in which we've been doing this podcast, I have had 2 stouts that have completely blown me out of the water. It makes me question things.
Wow,
That's it. Like, I'm
that's a
happy to hear that.
powerful beer.
I'm very thankful for this.
This podcast has blessed me with opportunities that I didn't think were
And
possible.
gout. And gout. There's opportunities and gout.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I think Keegan and I both had some of our worst beers ever this weekend. Not in this tasting, just in our own drinking. Am I right about that, Keegan?
uh, it wasn't the
The
worst I ever had.
the dill pickle beer was not the worst you've ever had.
Oh God, dude, I totally forgot about that beer. Oh my
I
God,
was just
hold
telling
on.
Sophie about it.
All right, yeah, we're gonna take a detour from Irish because we're going into pickle beer. Um,
Boo.
th-
Which is okay.
uh,
My 2 cents before you go in, Keegan. Pickle beers are relatively common out here in Wisconsin, as they are really good chasers for Bloody Marys because they help balance out the flavor of a Bloody Mary. I'm not a big fan of Bloody Mary, so the pickle beer isn't as much part of my culture. But Sophie and her parents like regularly keep one specific pickle beer in the house because it's relatively good and drinkable, and it's a good chaser for the Bloody Mary. That being said, go in, Keegan.
trying to collect myself right now. I'll be honest with you. Um, so listen, I like pickles. I like pickles with burgers. I like pickles with sandwiches. Like, I don't have a problem with pickles. All right. There's people that drink pickle juice for like cramps and stuff like that. Go for it. Go for it. Electrolytes, great. When I tried this pickle stout, or I'm sorry, pickle sour, I I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but it it was what it said it was. It was a dill pickle juice made into a sour beer. Um, I have talked about on this podcast how I've never really had something that I like hated. Um, this beer is one. Like I had to pinch my nose to get this beer down. So
Full can, full pint glass. Like,
it was a 16-ounce pint glass that I worked my way
Oh
through.
my God, Keegan.
Caitlin,
did she hold your hand the whole
listen,
time?
Caitlin,
She was
no, she helped me finish the beer. I am ashamed to admit that. I
But
had to have help finishing this beer.
but if
I,
no one, okay, you say you love pickles. Does Caitlin not love pickles?
I mean, she does. Maybe she likes pickles more than me. Like pickle juice.
But she also
I
doesn't
don't
really
know.
like beer. So
Yeah, yeah. There's some that she likes, some that she doesn't. But apparently, she just likes drinking pickle juice. Yeah. I gave it a. I mean, we'll give you a free review quick. I gave it a 1.5 on Untapped. One because it's not water, and point 0.5 because it is exactly what it said it was. Um, and it was not my cup of tea. I think the average for that beer is much higher than I rated it. So I'd encourage you
you're bringing
to
it down.
go check it out.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
outlier just got the
I'm.
brewer fired.
I mean, just like the national SAT score, like I'm bringing the average down.
You're helping kids.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Because I retried the apple pilsner this weekend that I had talked
I'm
about.
proud of you for that. I'm proud of you for that.
Yeah, and Sophie's dad and to be brother-in-law buddy were there, and they both tried it, and they both looked at me and like, "This is bad." And it's at Broken Bat, which is a beer that or brewery that we like very very much, and it was just bad. It's like bitter. It tastes like eating a bad apple.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
I deeply apologize to the two of you. Not well. I deeply apologize to Donnie. I'm mad at
Yeah, watch
Keegan,
your
so I'm
mouth.
happy
Watch your mouth.
you had a bad beer. But I'm so sorry that you guys had bad beer. It's just every
It
once in
happens.
a blue moon, you know.
Honestly, like I'm not upset I had a bad beer. Because
You said that's what you wanted to do.
it is. I did say that. I don't believe it's. Here's what I'm gonna say, and maybe this is a very generous statement. I'll say, I don't think it was a bad beer. It was just not my taste in beer. Is how I would put it. Um, Again, Caitlin very much enjoyed that dill pickle beer. Maybe someone who just drinks pickle juice for fun would enjoy this beer. It's just not my cup of tea or pickle juice.
We call those people. Oh, I had something. Completely lost it. I don't know.
Golden
That's okay.
slurs.
I don't.
That's that's the bottled Guinness talking right now, Luke.
That's the bottle. Good. Yeah. Yep.
Well, do you want to tell
Well,
us
thanks
about a
for
good
letting
beer,
me.
Keegan?
Yeah, thanks for letting me take that rant because I did need to get that off my chest. I tried to kind of block out that event, but yes, I'll tell you about a beer that I actually did enjoy. Um, so this is Lawson's Finest Liquids. It's their Nitro Stout. So I was first exposed to Lawson's Finest Liquids with their Sip of Sunshine, which is one of their most common beers. When you look up their website, it's one of their ones that are in all of their 9 states that they deliver to. It's an IPA that I enjoy. So when I saw the Nitro Stout, I'm gonna be honest, I was a little hesitant at first. But after trying it, and this is a by the way, this is a 5.4% dry Irish style stout.
Hmm.
So I kind of did go. I compared beer to beer here because they're both the same style for this one. Um, this one honestly, like it didn't have the same, like it didn't have a heavy coffee presence like the other, like that even more Irish Jesus or like other stouts. To me, this was more malty. It definitely was a fuller body than the Evil Twin Brewing, which again I like because that's what I'm expecting out of my stouts. Um, Honestly, the major flavors was this like this roasted malt and really sweetness, which made it a very solid beer. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Untapped, and I did enjoy this beer. Like it's definitely one that I would go back to. It looks like it's probably a seasonal release for them based on their website. But definitely a beer I would go back to. And they have a ton of beers on there. Um way more than I ever knew that they had. So definitely check out Lawson's Finest Liquids. Um, yeah, so four
Way
out of
cool.
five, I would recommend this beer for sure, for sure.
And you said, I'm sorry, where are they based out of?
I'm sorry, yeah, I have it here. It's actually it's wait. I'm gonna pronounce this wrong, and everybody's gonna hate me. It's Waitsfield, Vermont. It's Waits Field, Vermont. So another one of those New England beers. It seems like New England has a good reputation with beers. I mean, like for me personally, I'm a Sip of Sunshine fan. I'm an Alchemist fan for a couple other different beers. So couple Vermont beers like right there. So
Hmm?
um yeah, I think New England's got some good beer roots.
I'm
Are
I'm biased, but I agree.
what do they do? Is it Long Trail? Long Trail? I'm trying to think of what brewery.
Um
I
so
mean,
like
Allagash
they're
White is Maine,
that's true.
but
That's true.
you're thinking of
Like the signature stuff for Lawson's, they list Sip of Sunshine, the Little Sip IPA, their Scrag Mountain Pilsner, and their Hazy Rays IPA.
I've probably
Are there
seen all of
four?
those at some point in time.
I can almost guarantee that you have. I can. I yes,
I've been through
yes.
craft beer aisles in New Hampshire many times, so
You've definitely seen it then.
yeah.
Yep.
I just looked up the can on my phone and I definitely have seen the sip of sunshine before.
Yeah. So Sip of Sunshine is the one that I was the most familiar with, and again, it's a I mean, I think it's an enjoyable IPA. I apologize. I'm trying to clear out the golf beers and move into tasting beer, so my speech is a little stuttered there. Um, but I think it's an enjoyable IPA, so I would recommend Lawson's Finest Liquids, honestly, for most of their beers. Like it's definitely something that I will look to try other beers of theirs.
Is it going to be like your like Luke's equivalent of like Resurgence? Where it's
Maybe
like
not that.
where you're
Maybe not
trying
that.
to okay.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? Are you trying to what?
Oh, just like as a beer as like a brewery that you're going to try and revisit with new types as we go through them.
I definitely would like to. I don't have a problem with any of their beers, so it wouldn't be something that I would like stray away from. But um, yeah, I mean, I guess Resurgence is a little closer to Luke than Vermont is to me. So
That's
for
fair.
that reason, like it might not be quite the same connection that he has, but it's definitely a beer that like again, or a brewery, I should say, that I would definitely not stray away from.
Because I like my process that I do a lot of
Yeah.
times, of the four times we've done this now. When we have decided on a style for the upcoming episode, I go to all the local breweries in Milwaukee and I look at their tap lists and I see
Mm.
like what beers that they make, and a lot of times you can get most of their beers in stores. They a lot of them around here distribute locally, so it's not like I have to go in person. But I just like to go through and see like, all right, like what can I do, or I know that I can go to Total Wine and get a single can of it later.
Well, that's a
That's a really smart way to go about it.
I should start doing that for some of these tastings because I'd love to. I actually I've been thinking it's really cool that you mix in live tastings too, like brew like at on location on scene.
And it,
You're
I
gonna
will
try it.
I will fault myself because I'm a lot of times comparing a can to a draft beer, which can be hard. Um, But, for me, it's like I go out like a hobby of mine is I go out and go to breweries on the weekends. You
Hmm.
know, Even if it's a place I've been to before, it's a place we like to stop by and just, you know, like for us, it's like a vessel to go play cribbage half the time.
Can you
I
hear?
love that. I love that.
I What the hell is cribbage? What?
Have
what?
you never heard of
Oh
cribbage,
boy.
Luke?
Oh
What
boy.
is cribbage?
We're gonna need another episode for that, I think.
We're gonna do a Twitch stream of us playing cribbage online.
Of us teaching Luke how to play cribbage.
It's like have you ever seen like people have those like wooden game boards with like the pegs in it and it goes around like a
Yes.
circle? That's
Yeah.
what cribbage is. And
Hey,
so
Grandma had cribbage.
yeah, so it's just like you get points by playing like by with a deck of cards and stuff, and you by playing certain things.
Oh,
And the all the board does is keep track of your points. That's all it does.
oh, no. I was thinking Chinese checkers.
Yep,
No.
I was
No,
just gonna
I
say
don't.
Luke is thinking of Cracker Barrel where you have the one empty spot. You got to get rid of all the pegs. Is what Luke is thinking of right now.
Resurgence Brewing. I know that this is changing the topic because I don't know what cribbage is. I have to do my research. I'm gonna try and find some
We're
cribbage
gonna do an
players.
episode that's just board games.
I'm gonna visit the local cribbage patch, and I'm going to
They got dolls. Cribbage patch dolls.
But
Dance
so
was going crazy.
Yeah.
so we referenced once again Resurgence Brewing, and I had so much fun when I went to their physical location in Buffalo, like it's like downtown. But that's also where so my cousin and I were splitting a flight, and we would have one empty glass, like one empty tasting glass. And so I would just pour half of each one from both of our flights into that. So that we were able to try like a wide range of beer. And so my cousin kept going, "Holy crap, you're not like it's not dripping out of the glass at all. Like you make every single drop into the glass." And so then some of my other cousins started looking, and so each time I would pour, it's like they would go, "Oh yeah, yeah, well done," you know. So then my dad and some of my uncles were watching, and of course I was being a little cocky, and so I did it for it was probably one of the last one of the last tasting beers we were splitting. And I went to pour it and completely cleared the top of the next glass into a plate of
Hell yeah.
fries. So it was like
I need to find and post the picture. Speaking of having flights with you, Luke, of that time you and I went to No BS when we were in college,
yeah,
and there's
Lakeville.
there's that picture I took of you with our flights, and they poured me. I think I got their like chocolate peanut butter stout, and it's like 85% head on the beer. And it's like it hasn't settled
Just
yet at
foam.
all.
It's
It
just
was
foam.
just foam. It looked horrible.
You know what? I might have seen that picture recently.
Yeah, I gotta find it. It's so funny.
I'm gonna pull that up after this and send it over to you. But
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of beer battered fries, Luke just got fried battered beer.
no, it's beer soaked fries. It's just like
Hey, that's better. That's better.
Oh, that's amazing. Like I can so picture you being like, "Yeah, I can do this," just not looking.
yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna like cover his eyes and pour it from 3 feet up, and not a single drop goes in the glass.
Oh, my cousin's reaction was, by the way, we have zero Italian in us, but he sounded like New Jersey Italian. He goes, "Oh,
Hey, what are we
Looks like Tony
doing?
Soprano.
yeah. Hey,
What's going
oh,
on
what are you
here?
doing?
Stupid.
What is this?"
Who taught you how to do this? Your mother?
Pour like a
I love
man.
it. Pour like a man. Yeah, meaning just make it in the glass,
Yeah, man.
That's
but
all I
also get
try to do.
distracted halfway through.
Unless it's a Guinness, which you got to tilt it at exactly 45 degrees.
Thank you.
Bingo. Bingo. I can't wait to go when I go to Ireland, and I can just yell at you both that you're not pouring Guinness correctly because I've been to Ireland and I've seen how a Guinness is correctly poured.
He's gonna come back with a heavy Irish accent. He's just gonna be like, "Yeah, I pretty much only eat, or I pretty much only drink Guinness with every meal.
I love me a
You're all
pint.
poured it
I
wrong."
mean it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It settles the stomach. It's good for bone growth.
It's medicine.
From everything I've heard, the place you got to go when you're there is John Kavanaugh's, otherwise known as the Grave Diggers.
the grave diggers. I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah, they say it's the best Guinness in I think it's Dublin. Can't remember. But
Are
it's
you visiting Dublin while you're there?
We're hitting Cork, where my family is from, so south portion of Ireland. Um, and then we're heading up to the Cliffs of Moher, and then to Galway, and across to Dublin.
Sounds amazing.
Hold on to your Scully cap because I've heard the winds, the winds on the cliffs are pretty intense.
And I'm gonna have a win with me on the cliff.
Hey, yeah, that's right. I forgot she's coming.
But
Well, to generate some wind right now, I'm gonna spin the wheel.
I love it. I love it.
To see what type of beers we've got coming up. So
Come on, give me something good.
come on.
Papa needs a new pair of shoes.
Stout. What?
Belgians again. Nope.
Wait a minute.
Belgians.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Nope.
We're
High
gonna have to
choice.
start
Spin again.
removing. There we
Yeah,
go.
I gotta
There we
start
go.
getting a better system for this. Maybe you'll find a better wheel. If this lands
Come
on
on.
wild card, I'm jumping off a cliff.
Come on.
Stout.
Stout!
All right, boys.
Yeah,
I willed
baby.
it. Thank you, St.
It's
Patrick.
stout season.
It's
stout
a
season.
St.
Yeah,
Patrick's Day miracle.
Not only did he drive the snakes out of Ireland, he put that wheel on stouts. For his month.
That's what I'm telling you,
Okay.
man.
I have an announcement to make. Okay.
Is this your candidacy for beer czar?
Beer czar. No, I would not unseat our current beer czar. But so my announcement is this is the last time, and for some of you, you may stop tuning in because of this, but this is the last time you'll hear this crappy quality. You're going to hear, should hear, as long as everything goes well, a new mic that's identical to that which Donny uses. So hopefully
Copycat.
my sound quality should be decent the next time that we meet and drink.
So Luke's just pandering to our audience now. So if I guess if you're into that, you can continue to listen. Otherwise,
Well,
I'd probably mute it when
Trying
Luke
to meet
talks.
women over the podcast.
Well, can I let me just say real quick? I am also willing to pander to advertisers. So if anyone out, no, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
we need money.
If anybody wants to sponsor the pod, it would save us a lot of money on beer. I'm going to be honest.
We need beer money, baby.
It's
I'm only here for the beer money. So
that'll go on a shirt someday.
I do have. It's gonna be in there, gents. I do have our question of the week. So last week, I believe, if I'm not mixing up our weeks, it was, is water wet?
Correct.
This week, I think personally a little less controversial than the water is wet discussion. The question is, does pineapple belong on pizza? And that's it. That's it. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I'm not going to weigh in. Okay, I don't want to sway the audience.
Nobody
but I will quit this podcast if the wrong answer is chosen.
Looks like we're down to 2 hosts next week.
I bought a new microphone. I just wasted money.
I'm gonna have to use it as a back scratcher then.
Yeah. Exactly.
Starts his own rival podcast. The Good Beer and Good Pizza Opinions podcast.
Wow.
Well, thank you for coming out, boys. This was a great episode. And what better way to wish everyone a belated Happy St. Patrick's Day?
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
By a day, though, too. We cut
it
real close.
Yeah. It was close. It was close.
Maybe they should make it fall on a Monday next year.
For us podcasters, hey, listen, if we can will stouts onto that wheel, we can will a St. Patrick's Day on a Monday.
I agree.
All right. Sláinte, my friends.
Sláinte,
folks.
You're dead, man.